All right, today we're going to jump into a fascinating legal case. It's about what happens when one single homeowner decides to take on their entire homeowners association. It's a real classic underdog story, and we're going to break down exactly how it all went down.
You know, it's that classic David versus Goliath question, right? Especially if you live in a community with an HOA. You've got all these rules, boards, regulations, but what happens when you think the people in charge aren't playing by the rules themselves? Can you really do anything about it and actually win?
Well, this isn't just some hypothetical. This is the real story of a guy named Dennis W. Lamb. And back in 2007, he put that very question to the test, taking specific actions that ended up in a formal legal hearing.
So let's set the stage here. On one side, you have our petitioner, Mr. Lamb, just one homeowner. And on the other side, the respondent, the Bellasera Community Association. We're talking about an entire organization with a board, with resources, and yeah, probably with lawyers on speed dial. The whole setup is just a classic showdown.
So what exactly was the issue here? This wasn't about something small, like an unapproved mailbox color or the grass being too high. Nope. The complaint was about something way more fundamental to how the entire association was being run.
So at the heart of the whole thing was this formal petition. Mr. Lamb's claim was that the association had actually violated state law. How? By improperly putting two specific people on the board of directors. Now, this isn't just a minor slip-up. This kind of thing challenges the very legitimacy of the board itself.
So once that formal complaint was filed, the issue couldn't just be ignored. The case was officially set for a hearing, and not in a typical courtroom, but in front of an administrative law judge. These are specialists who handle disputes like this to make a final, binding decision.
And this right here, this really paints the picture of the challenge he was up against. The association, they showed up with their lawyer. And Dennis Lamb, he represented himself. I mean, just looking at this, the odds seem completely, totally stacked against him.
So this is it, the moment of truth. Everybody is there before the judge. The arguments are ready to go, so what was the outcome of this incredibly lopsided matchup?
So, what was the final decision? Well, what happened next wasn't some long, drawn-out legal battle. It was something, well, a lot more decisive and, to be honest, pretty surprising.
So here it is, the knockout punch. And it's a direct quote from the judge's decision. The association acknowledged that Mr. Lamb was the prevailing party. In plain English, they admitted he was right. They just folded. There was no big fight, just a concession. Honestly, this almost certainly means the violation was so obvious that their own lawyer probably told them, look, you can't win this, and fighting will only cost you more.
And that acknowledgement, it wasn't just words. It came with a price tag. This number, $550, was the filing fee Mr. Lamb had to pay just to bring the case forward. So his victory wasn't just on paper, it was financial too. The association was ordered to pay him back for the cost of holding them accountable.
The judge's final order was super clear and direct. First, pay Mr. Lamb his filing fee back and do it within 30 days. And second, and this is a huge deal, the association was formally ordered to follow all the state laws from now on. It basically reinforces the whole idea that no organization is above the rules.
Okay, so one guy won a specific case a while back. Why are we even talking about it now? Well, because this story holds a really powerful lesson about how community governance and individual rights are actually supposed to work.
So let's look at the final scorecard here. For Mr. Lamb, he was proven right. He got his money back, and most importantly, he showed that the whole system of checks and balances can actually work. And for the association, they had to admit their process was broken, they were explicitly ordered to follow the law, and they were held accountable by just one of their members.
And that brings us to the biggest lesson of this entire story. Mr. Lamb didn't win by yelling in a board meeting or just complaining. He won by using the system exactly how it was designed. He filed a formal petition, he based it on a specific law, and that forced a legal review with a binding outcome. The process, that was his power.
So this entire case really boils down to this one powerful question. Mr. Lamb's story suggests that a big part of the answer is knowing the rules and having the courage to actually use the established process to hold power accountable. It's a pretty amazing reminder that accountability isn't just a word, it's a practice. Thanks for tuning in.